Hello and welcome back to the channel.
Hello.
Welcome back to The Police with Tom and Sam. If you haven't watched the albums video, please do. If you haven't subscribed to Sam's new channel, please do. Sam, you're going first. Let's skip the pleasantries.
We are beyond small talk now. We've known each other for long enough. We've been doing this series long enough. Let's just do this.
People just want to see our lists.
Let's just jump on into it. So my number 10 coming in from Zenyatta Mondetta is Behind the Camel.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that.
No, I know. But I really enjoyed the instrumentation on it. I think it epitomizes what the Police are all about. And it is probably one of the weirder ones that you'll find on the list until near the end when they get very weird indeed.
Be My Girl Sally, number 1.
Yeah. Don't worry, that's not happening.
Okay, nice. Good song. My number 10, Sam's song doesn't like much. A song Sam doesn't like much. From Outlandos to More is So Lonely. I do like the song, but I do kind of see where you're coming from. I definitely felt the same way as you until this most recent listen, where I think the fact that the chorus repeats so many times makes it more intense every time. I love when it like quietens down and it goes into a bit more of like an instrumental section, and then Sting starts going, I feel so, and he starts building back up to it. And then that final chorus, he's almost like screaming. It's so awesome. Again, Stuart Copeland is maybe my favorite thing about the band. I knew that going in, but his drumming is absolutely excellent. If you just focus listening to his drumming, he's just all over the place all the time, but it never feels out of place for the song either. And that is one of his best drum songs as well. So that beat out probably 2 other main contenders for the number 10 spot. So really good song.
Good. My number 9, coming in from the same album as you, Outlandos to More, Roxanne.
Nice.
Which, yeah. It's one of those songs that I think if I didn't have so much sentiment attached to it, it might not have appeared on my list, because the songs after this are put together in a more sophisticated way and there's a lot more going on in it. But I can't deny it. I mean, I've listened to that song so much and I've got so many memories attached to it. It had to appear in the list, and there's something so like goey about it. It's one of those you could just listen to it, and it's got a lot going on in terms of like keeping that level up. It's one of those songs, it doesn't change much, but it doesn't need to. It's not making any pretense about what it is. It's just one of those songs that's just here to get catchy and get in your head, and boy does it. And you know what, in case you don't do it, it's a fabulous drinking game because it's so repetitive. You split people off into 2 teams. Drink every time someone says Roxanne, drink every time they say red light, and you're under the table by the end of it. It's a great drinking game to play to get you from tipsy to drunk. Like after you've had a couple, play Roxanne and then you'll be over that threshold. Great fun, good song, and I will be listening to it again and again, even now.
I just want to say Sam does not represent the values of William Schmilliams and
Tag.
My number 9 is from Synchronicity. It is King of Pain. Really cool new wave pop song. It's a bit more mellow compared to a lot of their hits, which I think I like about it. It's a bit more laid back. Of their hits, it was one of the ones I revisited the least, so it was really nice to sort of rediscover it this time around. But, oh yeah, this song is really great. So yeah, beat out this and the one above it, sort of crept into this top 10 and then pushed down songs I knew a lot better. So yeah, King of Pain's awesome. Big reason why Synchronicity wasn't last.
Indeed. My number 8 from Zenyatta Mondetta is Don't Stand So Close to Me. It's a story. It's a story that you're not. The Police are really good about writing songs about people who you do not want to relate to overly. Like, there's no way in hell you want to be the subject of this song, and yet you can still bop out to it. You still want to sing along to it, but boy howdy, I do not want to be the guy in this song. because that's just not the position you want to be in. So that's a great line that the police are able to tell, where they can like tell a story, but a story that you just don't like. It's an anti-hero, basically. It's like you're bopping along to the song, but that you're not seeing yourself in that position. I think that it's got a great catchy melody. I think that the instrumentation, once again, is on point. And I think that the lyricism for telling that story is really strong. I think every line is very purposeful, and it's a lot of intent behind it. And there's a lot of like references going on in it, which I find really good. That the line is like, but he feels like the guy from a book by Lebanon or something, and it's a reference to Lolita, which is about a pedophile, basically. And I thought that was really sophisticated. As a literature graduate, I do respect that. And Sting had a background in education, so it all kind of feeds in together, and I really like it for that reason, or those reasons.
Indeed. I guess I never really dived into the lyrics of that one, so maybe I should do that. My number 8 is my only appearance from Sam's favourite Police album, Regatta de Blanc, and it is Bring On the Night, one of their coolest songs in my opinion. Just love the atmosphere of it and the way the guitar sounds. It's so cool, almost deceptively catchy. Like the first couple times I heard it, I was like enjoying the instrumentation, and then I found myself singing the hook of the song, and I was like, I didn't even realize there was a hook in this song. It's definitely not the most immediate, but like, God, it really rewards repeated listens. And yeah, the guitar is just so beautiful on it, from Andy. And yeah, really lovely, lovely song.
Awesome. Don't remember that one very well, so I'll have to go back to that. My number 7, coming in from Synchronicity, is Tea in the Sahara, which was the final part of the triad that I said in the album's video really saved this album for me. I think it's a really nice song. It's a very soft song. It's definitely a juxtaposition to the A-side. I really enjoyed it. It's very pleasant listen. But Synchronicity will be coming up again. That wasn't my favorite song from the album, so stick around.
They will. My number 7, from Ghost in the Machine, the first appearance from my favorite album. It's Re-Humanize Yourself. So upbeat, and just the key word here is fun. So fun. One of the most underrated songs for my money, and you know, one of the best melodies, stuck in my head all the time. It's got to humanize yourself. It's so cool. Love the drum fills from Copeland. Just propels the song with such great energy. It's probably the only song on that album that harkens back to the debut in terms of energy and just vibe. Just love it. So awesome. Always have loved it since the first time I heard the album as well. So very underrated song. People just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Kind of in the middle of the B-side on the album, but so good.
I enjoyed it. I did. My number 6, another one from Synchronicity, climbing up quite quickly. It's King of Pain. Just totally set my mind, and then I had to look back down. Where is it written? Yeah, King of Pain. It's one of those songs I didn't realize that I knew from before the album, but it must have been given to me in a Spotify shuffle. It's a very heartfelt song. I feel like it's one of those melodies that we don't really appreciate that much, because the Police have so many big numbers, and this is, I don't think, one of them. I'd never really heard of it. I've just heard it in the past, and that's unfair, because this certainly deserves more rep than it gets. It's one of those songs that it is sad, and it's reminiscent of a lot of their other work. I feel like, without meaning to sound like I think that it's repeating itself and that they didn't vary enough, I think it's consistent with their sound, and it's very much the Police. And I really enjoyed it for that reason, and it started pulling me back. I mean, I knew Every Breath You Take would be a song that would get me back into Synchronicity, but I was thinking, is that going to be the only one I like? No. This one came in after it, and it saved me. It rescued the album, and it's a really powerful song, and I feel it. and it's nice. But you know, we're still not even in the top 5, so you can see that my appreciation of the songs is climbing up quite quickly.
As you would expect when we talk about them in descending order.
Yes, indeed.
I don't know. I always get them mixed up. Anyway, my number 6 is back to back from Ghost in the Machine. I've got the opening track, Spirits in the Material World.
Right.
Again, not well, Re-Humanize Yourself. I loved it the first time I heard it, but Spirits in the Material World, maybe because it was the opening track. And I was like, all right, the first time I listened, I was like, let's get to every little thing she does in Magic. Let's just get through this one. And this time around, I was just like, oh my God, this song is awesome as well. Never considered it a top favorite until now. It's so catchy. Chorus with a synth. There's a very subtle part in the chorus where the synth line underneath the vocal melody mirrors the vocal melody. So cool. Gives it a bit more sort of, gives it fuller sound, I suppose. It's a great example of the 80s pop sound that I think that they succeed with this album. And yeah, it's not quite as excellent as the second track, but it's a great way to open the album. And you know, a lesser song would have fallen into insignificance with the song that follows it, which of course I have not yet mentioned. But Spirits in the Material World is my number 6.
And nor have I. Right. My number 5, coming in from Outlandos to More, just to correct the record from my mishap in the albums video, I can't stand losing you. Yeah, this one is very catchy. I think, again, this is another guy you don't want to relate to, especially as the song draws near a close and you realize just how good Sting is at seeming desperate, because a lot of the good songs are just Sting sounding desperate. Not in a good position, but it's one of those songs that's like, you can really feel it. Like, again, the lyrics feel very deliberate, and the repetition of the chorus is deserved because there's this sense of panic and this idea like of not being able to accept the reality that the singer finds himself in. And I love it for that reason. And you can really like power through that song, and just really like sing your heart out to it. And again, the instrumentation on it it's not overly like, it's not too dense. That you can hear the guitar, you can hear the bass, you can hear the drums, and it's all very purposeful. And again, the Police is so like good at putting together a melody, and this is one of those songs that's famous for it to me, for having this real drive to it and this very deliberate sound, and it creates the story really well.
Indeed. My number 5, also from Outlandos to More, is Next to You, the opening track, the perfect song to open off their career. It is like, again, the epitome of Sting's like aggressive vocal. All I want is to be next to you. Oh my God. Such accomplished, catchy songwriting and playing from the outset. It's just sort of saying like, look how good we are already. This is our first song on our first album. Deal with it. It's so cool. And it's just a shame, because I do have more Outlandos to More to come, that it just gets a little bit ruined by those last 2 songs, because there's so much greatness on that album. But yeah, Next to You is my number 5. I think it's the perfect way to kick off their career for sure.
Very nice. My number 4, coming in from Ghost in the Machine, Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. Another one that you don't really want to be in his position, but I would almost argue this is one of the more relatable like songs in that category of like, yeah, you don't want to be, but come on, you've been there. This idea of like having this person that you really desire and being unable to cross that threshold, this unrequited love story. And it never really gets resolved because he never has the courage, but every little thing she does is magic. Just this idea of beholding this one person that you just cannot like get to, really, this unattainable love. And even that like even with that in mind, it sounds so upbeat and catchy that it's contagious, and you catch yourself singing it, and you're like, oh, this is kind of sad. But even with that in mind, really enjoy it. It's such a bop. It's undeniable. And even though I put Ghost of Machine in last place, I cannot deny the strength of that song. It's fantastic.
My number 4, we have got a song in common. It is back to back from Outlandos to More, and it's Roxanne.
Hey,
Classic. The first Police song I ever really loved, so I've got a bias towards it for that reason. I heard Every Breath You Take all the time, and we'll get to Every Breath You Take, but it's not that I didn't like it, I just thought it was fine. And it's one of those songs, those songs where you just hear them so much that you don't really have an opinion on it. It's just, it exists in the world. Like, yeah, well, that song is really famous and I know it, but I've never listened to it. So Roxanne was the first one that I heard and was like, wow, what is that? And then I went to listen to it and myself and fell in love with it. Always loved Sting's vocal on it, how he draws out the title name, so just deliberately every time. And the band are in such great sort of chemistry here. The stop-start nature of it, they would have to be. It's so tight. The backing vocals in the chorus are so perfect as well. The reason it isn't top 3 is because I'm maybe slightly more tired of it than the top 3, just because I've known it for way longer. Well, apart from one, but I've been listening to it myself way longer. Let's put it that way.
It's always the way, though. Now you come into these dives knowing certain songs so well that you're kind of done with them, for want of a better word, by the time you do the ranking. But it doesn't diminish how much you love them.
But then there are exceptions where no matter how much I hear them, they're my number 1, no matter what,
Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah. So coming into medal position now. And my bronze medal goes to a new discovery. It comes from my favorite album, Gets It Wrong. And it's Deathwish. Really love the guitar on it, and that simplistic and yet powerful bass that just carries the song all the way through. Oh, it's so catchy, and I keep repeating it, and I get that guitar in my head all through the day. It's just terrific. I haven't got as much developed critique of it as the others, but that's because I've known the other songs for so long, and so I have more of a formulated opinion on it. But this is a new discovery. It's leagues above some of the other new discoveries I've had, just for the sake of going back and just listening to it over and over again. I adore this song at the moment, but silver and gold go to some real strong staples in my own musical discovery over the years. So it had a hell of a job trying to get up there, and it's earned its medal position very well.
Very nice. My bronze medal is definitely not a new discovery. It's definitely not a deep cut. It is their most famous song, Every Breath You Take, from Synchronicity. Little story about this. If those of you who don't know, Sam does, of course, and some of you watching will. I did a film degree, and this last term, I was in my last year, and I was doing my dissertation video essay on The Sopranos and Lost. And there is a sequence I was using from The Sopranos, which uses a remix of Every Breath You Take with, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like this spy thing. Is it Peter Gunn? That's going to be really embarrassing if I get it wrong. But you'll know it. I'll put it on screen if I was wrong. I think I was. But anyway, it's a remix of Every Breath You Take and that. And I used it in the video. And obviously I was spending months editing this video essay, so I was hearing the song again and again and again. Obviously it's a remixed version, but parts of the song, right? It was always a song that I kind of took for granted, and then I just found myself when I was walking home from the studio, I would just every move you make, that sort of backing vocal part. That's really nice, that backing vocal part at the end. So then I went and started listening to the song, and I was like, this song is amazing. What was I doing? It's almost like a cliche, and to be able to talk about it with trying to bring something new to it is difficult. But I just have a whole new appreciation for it. Of course, the lyrics are fantastic and ahead of their time. There'd be so many other pop songs with dark lyrics that would come afterwards, right? That was sort of aping this, I think. So simple, really, but so well done. The guitar part is so iconic. And yeah, that last minute with the backing vocals, so dreamy. My favorite part of the song, just beautiful. They did some really good outros, and I'll talk about another great outro on another song where the song's ending, you're like, oh no, I wish there was another like 2 minutes of this. So Every Breath You Take is bronze, and that is a very recent development in the last months. It might not have even made my top 10, but because of how much I was listening to it, and it was only growing on me, and I wasn't getting sick of it, I was like, okay, well, it has to get up there, and yeah, I love it now. So
Awesome.
there's a little anecdote for you.
Yeah. My silver medal is from Regatta de Blanc. Message in the bottle, yeah. Oh, another song. Another song. You don't want to be the guy in that position, but for a different reason, because he's stranded on a desert island. But I'm really loving like the police stories. What fun it is just to listen to, and the melody on that one is iconic, I think. And again, like you said, the way it closes, send it out an SOS, I find just contagious, and you can have that going around in your head forever if you let it. And I really enjoy that song and following the story. And that's another one that's not a happy ending, because he's stranded on this desert island. He sent out the message in a bottle, and like 100 or 1,000, like millions have shown up on the shore, and it's like, oh, I'm not alone. Everyone is stranded on their own desert island. Shit. And I love it for that reason. It's a great song, and yeah, there was no way that wasn't going to appear very high on my list.
Yeah, that was very close to making mine, but good pick. My number 2 is my favorite song from Outlandos de Moor, and it is Can't Stand Losing You. My favorite of their early era. Starts off with that reggae feel before it bursts into that awesome, like almost the Cars-esque, even though it was the same year as the Cars debut. That sort of chorus feels very like, I don't know, like Just What I Needed. Similar vibe. Pre-chorus and chorus are both great. So cool. It's like a song that just gets me hyped every time. Don't have as much to say about it as my number 3 or my number 1, but it's an undeniable bop where you just put it on and it's just really good. And again, it's their lyrical content, it doesn't always hit, because sometimes they go for some really abstract, weird stuff. But I like that they aren't just doing typical pop lyrics, you know, like you can enjoy these as pop bangers and then look into the lyrics, but that is odd. So that's just a sort of side note, I guess. Yeah. Love Can't Stand Losing You. It's comfortable silver, but also far away from gold, I would say.
Right. Interesting. I wonder where you're going to have gold. I think I know. And you probably know what I've got. Because talking of really weird in terms of lyricism, Synchronicity, Every Breath You Take, which has had a lot of interpretation of people trying to make it sound better than it is. But Sting has come out and gone, yeah, that's not true. It's simply about a stalker. Again, another person who you do not want to be. But, oh, boy, howdy, that song is iconic. The guitar is bigger than the sum of its parts. So simple, but it's been sampled a lot over the years, and for good reason. It's so up there when it comes to guitar melodies for me, and the fact that this character is so dark makes it stand out. Again, like you said, it's not just a simple pop song, and if it was just a love song put to this guitar, it wouldn't be so awesome. And it's doing something different, and the police are really good at that, and really challenging you to like or dislike the main character. And it's like, because the song is so catchy, you're singing along to it. It's like, you read those lyrics, and this is not a character you want to be associated with. But it's great for that reason, because it's got some depth to it. There's some substance. And when you're watching a film or reading a book, you don't necessarily have to like a character for the reason of it's a good character. You can like it for being a bit villainous. And the same should be for music. And Sting proved that. And this song proves that on its own. It's such a fabulous song, and yet that ending, you do want it to go on forever. It's a song that I think everyone has heard, and I think you'd be hard pressed to kind of knock it for any good reason, apart from taste. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But I think there's so much going on in it, and there's a reason why it's so big. And so I knew from the start it was going to be my number one, and I haven't shaken on that. So
I think people do take it for granted, though. I did
Yeah.
for years, but I think people, again, because they know it and they're like, yeah, it's every breath you take, you know.
Yeah,
It's-
you know it even if you don't know the police.
yeah, exactly. And it's, I don't know. I feel like it's deserving of deeper analysis.
Yeah,
And you know, I mentioned it being dreamy, but I think you could also interpret it as being like quite eerie and
yeah, bit of a nightmare.
obviously the lyrics are like that, but like because it's so sort of plodding and slow paced, really, for a pop song, it has this like, if you really think about it, it has this odd atmosphere. And then like with the outro, it's just sort of like repeating every move you make, every breath. It's just like, oh,
Shows the obsession.
yeah, it's yeah, very effective song.
Mm-hmm.
My number one, of course, is Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic from Ghost in the Machine. From the first time I heard this song, I knew it was my favorite Police song. From those, like, just to not even talk about the content of the song, just the first little hi-hat and then straight into the keyboard. Oh my God.
You know what song is coming when you hear it.
It's such an amazing intro. And then you just go straight into it. It's honestly one of my favorite songs of the 80s in general. Like it's so good. I love, again, a great outro where the piano raises an octave and goes a little bit higher. It's so good. It's one of those songs where the verse is just as catchy as the chorus. And I love the contrast between those like mysterious verses with the piano part running throughout and that upbeat chorus. The slow verse sort of feels like the feeling of dejection and like moping, but then the chorus is like the naive hope and optimism of feeling like, yeah, but she's amazing and it will work out. And then the verse like brings you back down to earth. And then that's kind of, it's just an awesome dichotomy. The lyrics are amazing. It's a big enough umbrella, but it's always only me who's getting wet is a line so good that they used it on Oh My God as well. It's just great. It's just great songwriting. And sonically, I mentioned Copeland's little hi-hat intro, which is iconic. It's brilliant. But the drums throughout the whole song are brilliant. Keyboard obviously is great. It's like the ultimate to me, like I've talked about this a lot, but like headphone testing music, where you know you have a good set of headphones or speakers or whatever. When you blast this song loud, it's just going to sound amazing because it's just so well put together musically. And it is their masterpiece to me. It is just effortless, but also so meticulous at the same time.
Yeah. They make it look easy.
And that piano riff is just, it's so cool. It's so good.
It is. Yeah, no, it's awesome.
And it's so different for them. Like there are barely any other Police songs that have the piano that prominently. I can't even think of one off the top of my head. But yeah. There you have it. That's the Police. I have 5 honorable mentions to just run off quickly.
All right.
Zenyatta Mondata, you will have noticed, was the only album that didn't have a representation on my list. But I will give honorable mentions to When the World is Running Down, You Make the Best of What's Still Around, and Man in the Suitcase. Also, Born in the 50s from Outlandos D'Amour, I wanted to shout out because it's overhated. I think it's fun. Darkness from Ghost in the Machine. And I would say my number 11 was Message in a Bottle from Regatta de Blanc.
Right. And my honourable mentions, I'll also back up your claim of Born in the 50s not being as bad as they say, because I enjoyed it. I also enjoyed It's All Right for You. The Bed's Too Big Without You. Peanuts, Canary in a Coal Mine, and Voices Inside My Head.
Yeah, I mean, the Police are great.
Yeah, we've got so much variety in our songs list. It just goes to show you there's more to them than meets the eye.
Yeah, we had a few we had
Not as many as I would have thought, though.
Yeah, Roxanne, Every Breath You Take, Can't Stand Losing You,
Does She's Magic,
King of Pain. Yeah, I think we had 5. Just, you know, for a 5 album discography, that's not bad, you know.
No.
A good bit of variety.
Yeah.
So Sam and I are going to discuss off camera what we're going to do next. Well, no, on camera, but off air, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we're going to come off Zoom. I'm going to drive up to Wales, and then we're going to quickly decide which album we're going to. Right, let's go. No.
We'll just make a day out of it. But thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all your continued support of the channel. I appreciate it. I know Sam does as well. If you haven't subscribed to Sam's new channel, please do. Again, don't know if he will have uploaded yet. Hopefully, but
I think so. I reckon so.
Okay.
Either that or it's close. End of July is the first video, so depending on where this is coming out.
Oh no, you won't have uploaded by then.
Right. Well, they whatever the Saturday is, 23rd of July is the first upload.
Stay tuned, people. Stay tuned, but be subscribed anyway.
Yeah, get ready. Here I come.
Before YouTube start charging money for subscribers. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully we'll catch you soon.